Hey guys, Rich with Rich Rebuilds here, and we're putting a turbocharged 400 plus horsepower Hayabusa engine in the back of a Volkswagen Rabbit pickup truck. And as if that wasn't crazy enough, we're putting an electric motor in the front, so it's a mid-engined hybrid pickup truck. It's like a BMW i8, just cheaper, quicker, more utility, and far more power. Today, we're gonna actually show you the steps you have to take to mount the motor in the rear to make it mid-engine without using plasma cutters and proper tools, and thus adding 5 hours to the build time. Let's get started. What's up, boys and girls? Another beautiful day in paradise. Let's get this show on the road for the Hayabusa swap pickup truck. One thing we want to give you a heads up on is what the original plan for this motor was. Now, the original plan was to have the motor suspended in this rectangle. We were going to have supporting bars 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is actually the size of the bar we were going to use, very thick, to help support the motor. What we're running into now is that that shaft is a little bit too close to this motor, and we can't drop the motor low enough to have a straight line shaft. It was going to be at a pretty extreme angle, and what that does is when you have too much angle, because it's so short of a distance, we can run into various binding issues. We don't really want to do that. So today, what we're going to do is this. We're actually going to cut the entire bed out so we have the ability to drop the motor even lower. What this allows us to do is, if we cut the entire bed out, we could actually add our own reinforcements strategically placed so we can also support the fuel cell over there. One thing we're not thinking enough about is the placement of the fuel cell. If we were to do it this way, the fuel cell can't actually fit in between those rails. However, if we do our own, this will allow us to do a little bit more custom placement of that. The second issue we're running into is the height of the caddy. Now, this is way too big of a gap for me personally. I like my vehicle stanced. This is a pretty good stance right here. Once this is lowered, this lowers an additional 3 inches in the front. I don't like wheel gap at all. Putting the wheel on here, this will give us about 3 or 4 inches of wheel gap. Even with the motor in the rear and people jumping on it up and down, it's still gonna give us the same problem. It's only gonna lower itself about 2 inches or so and will still give us pretty extreme gap. Now, that problem is not solved by cutting this small hole in here. How this problem gets solved is by cutting out the entire bed. I'm gonna show you why. What we're running into is that rear differential right there is very, very close to that frame. What this allows us to do by cutting out the entire bed and making our own custom subframe, that'll allow a little bit more suspension travel right here, because once this is fully compressed, we only have about 1 inch or 2 of space right there. By cutting out the bed, this actually creates more space for flex, and therefore, if that rear axle is close to the bed, this will give us a little bit more lowering power. Today, we're also going to cut these tabs off the rear axle. We're gonna flip the rear axle. There's gonna be a lot done today, so stay tuned, guys. First things first, cut the bed. Boys and girls, I just want to take a quick time out on the video just to bring something to your attention. And I do read your comments. I read every single one. And it's been the same question over and over again I've been noticing over the last few months. You guys obviously really want to know what's going on. You're really concerned. You notice that some elements of the channel are missing now, and I completely get it. I understand. And I wanted to bring it up now, and I wanted to say that obviously something's missing, and what's missing is my oily skin. And I've been using Tiege Hanley for my new skincare routine over the last few months, and my skin's been great. It's been glowing, and having a healthy skincare routine, it boosts confidence. It's great. You could have women like this. You could have cars like that. That's not my car. The bank owns that car, but you could be a banker. I would recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and a PM moisturizer. Oh, and to make it dead simple for guys like us, they provide this instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. It definitely comes in clutch. Skincare wasn't always something I took seriously, but now that I have, I wish I would have started sooner, but you don't have to take my word for it, because they have over 7,000 5-star reviews from customers around the globe. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering our viewers a great deal. Just click on the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Click the link and get started today. Okay, so when I cut this, I'm only gonna cut out to a certain point. I'm probably gonna stop right about here because this is where the last bracing is. And what I don't wanna happen is I don't want when I start cutting the whole thing, if I were to cut the whole thing out, for the whole thing to start to taco and turn like this because there's no bracing in the rear. So I'm gonna stop to about here. I'm gonna mark it off where I wanna start. Maybe I'll put some spray paint down there so I know when to mark it. But other than that, I'm gonna start cutting the sides, take this bed out. Okay, so for the Volkswagen Caddy work today, Joey has drawn us an illustration of what's going to happen. That's Joey with the Miller welder in his hand. That is John smoking, of course. That's the Caddy, and that's me. Interesting how that's a different color from everything else. But Joey, what are we doing here? What does this all mean?
All right, so what we're gonna do is right now the factory subframe's right here, and we're gonna chop that out. But before we do that, we need to rebrace it with the new 2x3.
Oh, so we're essentially cutting here and here. Ah,
yep. So but we gotta add this in first so we don't twist anything up.
Right. I would argue that the metal we're adding here is stronger than this.
Oh, way stronger.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Back to our drawing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut right here, right here, and we're gonna weld our new structure in here.
Okay.
And then leave the factory stuff.
Yep.
Take all this out, and then we can do our chopping after. Clean all this up.
Oh, it's all like glue and stuff.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a nightmare.
That's a John job.
Oh, for sure, definitely. He's just inhaling smoke and stuff. So
yeah,
should mean walk in the park. That's free smoking.
Axle is going to be sitting about here.
Okay.
So that should give us enough travel. All right. Now the motor won't be too low. We can kind of bring up the oil pan so we don't have to worry about that.
It getting scratched and stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Better idea. Yeah. So we'll add in our cross braces here. Put the fuel cell in. Another cross brace here for our motor. Not a lot of torque, luckily. So.
Yeah, this motor is all RPM, not a lot of torque. Like we were researching online, there's not really enough torque in this thing to really do a lot of frame twisting. So we should be in pretty decent shape. Even still, the metal we're using is more. It's pretty much built for like at least a V8. So we should be in pretty decent shape. Maybe not a Hellcat V8, but
no,
it was planned for a V8.
Oh, here we go.
So all right, let's do it. Oh, John, this is a sad moment.
Yeah.
John, you want to tell the studio about your project? You supposed to do a project, John, but
no, because it got pushed to the side because I got too much work with you.
No, but tell them. See, there, I'm gonna cut that part out. See, but tell the people the project that you wanted to do because I'm young, John is old, and John likes working.
78 MG midget. Yeah, right.
That's even better.
That's even better.
I've been smoking.
Yeah, you were saying? Go ahead.
It was 78 MG midget, and I wanted to put a 350 in.
350 in it. Okay.
Why not put a tune port in there? Because that's what all the Boomer New Balance
That's what we should do. Dude.
Yep.
So if you feel something in the back of your neck, that's John's penis. This is the bed. This is not drawn to scale. This is the cab. Here we have the fender well. And now this is the dotted lines are the OEM rails, right? This is the crossbar we're gonna have connected to these two. Sorry, along with the mounts we already made.
crossbar.
Okay.
And then we're gonna come from the cab to here. We're gonna do 2 little gussets, just like a factory on a motorcycle.
I gotcha.
So they just have little gussets sticking out, and we'll do the same with the head. We'll make like a nice little bracket right here. It comes up,
Yep.
over. Same on the back of the head, and that's it.
Then you get the fuel cell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing we gotta kind of factor in. Are we using that red one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not really sure.
What's that? 10 gallons?
That's 10 gallons.
Probably like.
That might be a little bit slightly overkill.
Kinda big, isn't
but
it?
it's fine. It's
You
a
know?
Give you,
It's also free.
500
500 miles of
5,000
range.
miles
500
of
range.
range.
All right, we can do that.
Okay.
So pretty big fuel cell
Hey,
now.
listen, if you don't want to, it'll go back in my 70 midget. 78 midget.
Oh, we almost forgot about that for a second.
Yeah, because that'll get done.
You know what we have? Plenty of ABS.
What's the reading, doctor?
What level?
Level?
Sticking with the eyeball method, I see.
No. Dude, I see a bubble right there.
Yeah, he's using his eyeballs
Yeah.
to read the level incorrectly.
Yes.
Fucking 360 steel that I welded in way too much.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Ready? That's not going anywhere. How's it feel, John, to get up there? Do the tightrope act.
Scary.
It works. There you go.
Here's the new Facebook profile picture.
Okay, here comes the fun engineering part. As if this whole thing hasn't been a giant engineering project. Joey, what are we doing with lasers right now?
So right now, we just pulled our center line. So we found our center of the truck,
Yep.
and we found that the 488 has about a 3-inch offset. What we're gonna do is offset our motor 3 inches. So we had to find our center line first, and we came over 3 inches, just like the rear end.
Yep.
And we're gonna make this guy
Just about right there.
just about right there. We're just
Oh,
gonna
awesome.
make sure that's square and
And
start
we're kinda-
making some brackets.
So this is actually working out a lot better than I thought it would. Remember we thought the turbo was gonna smash into
Yeah.
the side? It's actually not that bad at all.
A lot more room than we thought.
Right.
That looks to be pretty good there.
That's pretty damn good. Now, people in the comment section are going to ask, okay, this whole truck was built jankly from the factory. How did you guys find the center line of the truck? That's really none of your business. Okay?
Yeah, pretty
we just did some math. We crunched some numbers. That's how we did it. I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, listen, you're doing this wrong, or I would have done it a different way, which is totally fine. That's valid. I get there's people with more experience than us. So do me a favor, just shoot us photos of your mid-engine pickup truck, and we'll take some pointers from there, right, Joey?
Definitely.
Thanks, audience.
Can always do better.
Okay. Here.
I got my safety football.
There you go. Now we're talking.
I'm done for the night.
That's
Yeah, we're done for the night.
that's perfect.
All right. Bring it on down, Joey.
Am I bringing it down?
I guess the whole thing.
Ready?
Some load. Oh.
How much load?
Too much load.
Up now.
no.
Let me walk into the.
Hold up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Down?
Down.
Oh, she's tucking.
Are we straight?
Woo!
So I guess that's what you're looking for, right?
Yep, that's it. We still need shocks.
Yeah.
So the shocks are gonna help
Yeah,
with
Shocks
that
are
a little
gonna be
bit.
easy.
Put your,
We're gonna run mounts off of this.
Yeah, hold on.
Put your
Put the wheels
wheels-
on. Okay.
Good.
Math, let's do it. I hated math when I was in school, by the way.
that's a lot.
Believe it or not, I was a math minor. Can you believe it? I was a math minor in college.
I don't believe it.
No, haven't used it since. Yeah. Good.
So what we're doing now is we're trying to find the motor output shaft, what the degree of it. So what we're trying to do is pair that degree with the same as the rear axle.
Okay.
So the pitch of the rear axle needs to be the same, needs to be on the same plane, needs to be parallel.
Okay.
If you have it against, you're gonna have vibrations.
It's too extreme. Yep, too extreme of an angle. Right.
So we're just trying to find the sweet spot right now.
Okay.
So
how do we do that? You gonna show me?
Oh, I'll show you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, again, 6 hours later. Joey.
6 hours later.
What are we doing, Joey?
All right, so now, like we talked about, we're setting the pinion angle.
Okay.
So we're gonna come down here, and we're gonna measure it. Let's see. Did it ever stop bouncing?
Is that 1 or 2?
Yeah, it's right about 2.
Okay.
We're gonna do the same thing over here.
What we're doing right now is we're making sure that the pinion angles are at least close, because what happens is if those two angles are off, you can create some binding issues, which would not be good.
Yeah, so we're pretty close. We're within like a half right now.
Okay.
What we'll do is, like, once we get the mounts, we can start adjusting it.
Look at this, Joey. That's impressive, Joey. So Joey's gonna weld this right now so it looks seamless, like as like one piece, just like this one does. Joey's going hard right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is literally 1/2 inch thick steel, and he's just making it work. This is actually so well made, you could probably put the LS on top of this, but Joey's going to town still. We're still trucking away.
Should be really close.
Oh! Oh, heavens, Joey.
Pretty close?
Yeah.
Hey, we did it.
Nice job, man.
Now that we're asleep.
All right, guys, it's like 1:30 in the morning, and Joey, what'd you do so far?
We finally got the motor located. That finally squared up to the axle.
Mm-hmm.
We got this fancy looking motor mount in.
I actually like the angle of that. It looks pretty slick.
Yeah.
This was probably one of the hardest. Actually, I think this is probably the hardest part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Making sure everything gets lined up correctly. We had to use lasers, measuring tapes, which we don't usually use around here.
I don't do that.
Sharpies, cutting tools, you name it, just to get this measured up and make sure it's true. Because this shaft right here would be spinning at so many RPM. If it's messed up at all, we're going to feel it within seconds.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, it's at 10, 15,000 RPM that's spinning at, and it's just, it wouldn't make any sense if we didn't do it right, but we did it right. It's mounted. What we have to do now is we have to make the secondary mount in the back. Then we have to make the third mount that goes, you said right in the front, right? About right here. You know what I was thinking? If we do this right? If we have a brace in here,
Yep.
why couldn't we put a fuel cell there?
We definitely can. I think that's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Safe.
Remember, half of it's already there. It's already like halfway figured out. So yeah, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Cool.
We should,
Because that way it keeps the back clear for other shenanigans, and it keeps all the weight in the middle of the truck.
Yep.
That'd be pretty good.
So I don't think people want to see welding and fabricating and us struggling until 2 o'clock in the morning for another 30 minutes. So we're going to work on this stuff in the background. And just an FYI, we did this over the course of many days, and it may not seem like it, but it's a lot of work. In the last video, someone commented and said we need a plasma cutter, and I fully agree. Cutting 1/2 inch thick metal with a Sawzall and cut-off wheels takes forever and adds hours to the build time. So a plasma cutter is on its way, and the next time you see the truck, the motor will be mounted fully. But we still have many, many things to figure out. Number one, the main event, connecting the motor to the rear axle, finding out how to control both throttles for the electric motor and the Hayabusa engine. And I really want an electronic paddle shifter, but at the same time, we still need a clutch to get it off the line. We are open to any suggestions you might have, but either way, we'll see you guys next week.